I was sitting outside Loyola Chapel, which is right along the lake, literally, and I was sitting on the wall there, and the church doors were open, and the music was just flowing out, and there was this lovely piece by Brahms. It was a German piece, and I just heard it, and just was watching the lake and the water rippling, and I just started crying. There was nobody else there. It was so lovely. I think there were several other times too. During the Holy Hour on Thursday, they sang this Tantum Ergo by Kevin Allen, which just took my breath away. I was crying that time too. But those 2 times the most.
I've been using chant and chant-like material, and I needed to learn it from experts in person and in the context of a liturgy. It's very dry, very useless to just learn it in a classroom situation or by yourself or from an academic approach. It would be like trying to find joy and going to a jewelry store and looking at the wedding rings. I want to go to the wedding.
When the Second Vatican Council's document on the liturgy, Sacrosanctum Concilium, says that the treasury of sacred music is of greater value than any other art, that is a very heavy statement to make.
At the colloquium, we're able, because we have 250 people together, almost all of the musicians of varying strengths and weaknesses, we're able to mount, if you will, a mass in the context of a workshop or retreat. People will use both of these words when they describe the colloquium. And we will have a beautiful mass on a day at which participants of the colloquium will, in turn, sing the introit of the Mass, or perhaps the polyphonic ordinary of the Mass, or perhaps they won't be singing anything that day. Although, as you know, living through this week, it's rare that someone at the colloquium is not singing something at Mass. That's quite rare, in fact. Right. And as a participant in that Mass, they are able to sing the music proper to the Mass, either the proper chant or the ordinary of the Mass, and at the same time observe the liturgy, because with all of these people involved in the colloquium, there's plenty of time to see what's going on, to let it sink in, to hear other choirs singing. And so the learning experience, I think, is the most important part of the colloquium at these beautiful Masses which we have every day, presented in a paradigmatic way, we hope, right. But because of the nature of a colloquium, when you put 250 people together for 6 days, maybe the music is perfect, maybe it isn't, but that's all right. We're all working toward the same goal, which is the beauty of music and the beauty of liturgy in service to the Mass.
The instructors for CMAA have been wonderful in bringing those of us who are beginning in this chant arena to learn and to appreciate and to be able to really pray and proclaim Gregorian chant.
How do you address people to say, well, look, Dr. Mahrt, I grant you the idea, I grant this is the music of the church, this is the music of Vatican II, but we just don't have any singers who can do this. It's just beyond our reach.
They have to learn. You have to teach them. You have to start small, but you see, it's that thing of having caution and persistence. Yeah. You have to continue to teach them, and they'll learn. These are people who can handle a fancy program on a computer.
Yeah.
They're not incapable of learning.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And our whole society is geared to having us do extremely difficult things. we worried a little bit about when we got to 250 people that we'd have to divide you into 5 different choirs, and you would have only the opportunity of singing 1/5 of the time at the Mass. But I think there's an advantage to that, because now you can experience the music as those in your pews experience it. You can evaluate the effect and the use of various kinds of music in the liturgy as a worshiper, as well as a choir member. And I think that is a thing that you will value taking home. I find myself in the embarrassing position of not really knowing very much about what other people do in church, because I'm always busy on Sunday morning. And so it's an opportunity to have a chance to experience and reflect upon and ask the questions: how does this work? Why does it work? Why should it be used?
Today I didn't sing the Dies Irae, I read it. I was actively listening, and I participated in the Dies Irae like I never did before. I was able to pray through it and not have to fuss with neumes. In the end of Mass today, there was a procession that was unaccompanied. After a Requiem Mass and listening to the footsteps approaching me, it was a catechism on the priest being the persona Christi, coming closer and closer to me. It was terrifying. It was wonderful, but that was very profound. Moment of silence set such a wonderful tone in the presentation, in the declamation of the psalm. When I began using that and using the chabanal psalms and their great modal accompaniments, I noticed a profound silence in our church. I used that pause, and there was no rustling of booklets or coughing. And I stopped and even listened to the silence, and I said, they're participating.